Hi, you're watching the Crafts Channel in association with Fimo. My name's Corinne Brad and I'm joined by Lisa Davies.
Hi, as Corinne said, I'm Lisa Davies. I'm the Fimo brand manager and I'm the lucky person who gets to play with Fimo for a job.
Yes, so do I. Today we're going to show you how to use the Fimo texture plates, which are these great flexible decorated plates, and then how you can colour them up with a range of metallic powders, alcohol inks, eyeshadow that you've nicked off your 15-year-old daughter, lots of things. And you can make some great effects with a little tiled photo frame. And I've just done some examples here of the different designs that they do. Now, I can't remember the names of half of these, I'm afraid.
We have Baroque.
I haven't got Baroque with me, sorry.
Oh. Leather effects, snake skin,
Yeah,
lace.
this is a leather effect one, and a snake skin. And I've made this photo frame here. This frame's made completely out of Fimo, and that's used the lace effect. And then I've used some of the border prints. It's a great little set of border prints. They're really nice. There's another border print, like a Celtic knot design. And it's really simple to do. What you need to condition your clay. It works very well with Fimo Soft. It works very well with Fimo Kids, doesn't it?
Yes, actually, this would be a perfect project for children because you get instant results with it.
Yeah. I'll show you how instant they are.
Well, yeah, I mean, kids, they just get bored really easily. They want the results straight away, and they get it with this product.
Take yourself a conditioned ball of clay. This is about, I'd say, 1/6 of a block. Now I'm going to just roll it through the conditioning machine here to get it a bit flatter. And if you roll it in one direction and then the other direction, you'll end up with a more square sheet of Fimo. If you just keep rolling it in the same direction, it won't get much wider, but it will get really long and unmanageable.
And you can roll it quite wide on the Fimo clay machine.
Yeah, it's about 17.5 centimetres wide, this bit.
Yeah.
What you do need to do is, if you're rolling clay, if you roll black and then you want to roll white, you just want to give the rollers a rub over, get a wet wipe under here, just to take any black off.
You can actually roll the wet wipe all the way through.
Oh yeah, I suppose you could,
Feed it in like a piece of pasta.
So I've set this on setting 4. Actually, I'm just going to do it on setting 5. And then I'll show you. You can either put the texture plate on the Fimo and press it down with your hand or an acrylic roller, or I have noticed that if you get your texture plate and you need to check, at the top here, you've got the brand name, Stettler. You need to check that you can read that the right way round to get a crisper effect. You can get an effect off the other side, but it's a much softer indentation. If you grab a wet wipe.
These are especially large texture sheets as well.
Well, they're the full width of the pasta machine, aren't they?
Yeah,
conditioning
so you
machine,
can repeat the pattern, and because they're clear, made of clear material, you can actually see when you place it on your Fimo, if you wanted to make a larger pattern sheet.
Oh, you can match it up.
Match it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to run this through. Now, I've wiped that over with a wet wipe just because under the lights here, this Fimo is quite sticky. It's quite thin and I don't want it to stick in there. So that bit of moisture from the wet wipe just stops it sticking. Now this was run through on 5. I'm going to take this back to 3 to accommodate
so you put that through the roller? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Am I not supposed to?
You can if you want to, yeah. Oh, wow.
And you've got that indentation there.
Yeah, it's more uniform if you use the roller to do it, isn't it?
So what I'm going to do is you can use this as a sheet to cover. This is just a little ceramic box. So if I lay my clay on top of it, just going to tamp it down. I'm just going to trim the edges up.
Right. And you're not using any glue there to stick the Fimo to the ceramic?
No, I mean it will stick quite comfortably to the ceramic.
Okay.
What you do want to just make sure, especially when you're using veneers like this and they're quite thin, is that before you sort of seal it underneath, you give it a gentle rub. Don't use your fingertips because you'll get finger marks. If you just rub it over with the heel of your hand very gently to get the air bubbles out, and then you can tuck these bits under the lid. And I tend to just cook it like that. I don't tend to trim up the bottom because once Fimo's been cooked, you can actually trim it with scissors or a craft knife.
Right.
And I've now found, because you don't want to disturb the top too much, so rather than flip it over and start playing around with it, let it bake first and then trim it with a craft knife.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour this with, I think, a bit of copper. If you just tap a bit of copper, I'm just going to move that so you can see what I'm doing. Tap a bit of copper dust onto your tile. Use a nice soft acrylic brush to pick up some of the copper.
You could use a makeup brush as well if you don't
Yeah.
have a...
And I'm just going to randomly paint this over the surface. Now you can see where it's getting into the indentations. So you can either have a really nice effect where you've just got a solid colour and the metallics really show it off well. But then what I'm going to do is rub it back with a wet wipe to get the copper off the raised areas and just leave it in the indentations.
Wow.
And then, like I say, have a raid through somebody's makeup collection. This is a great set of colours. No one would ever actually wear them in real life, but they are fabulous for just rubbing over the top.
Chalk pastels would work as well.
Yeah.
If you scrape them into
any
powder.
fine sort of powder. I mean, I like makeup because it does have a shiny, pearlescent effect to it.
That looks lovely. Yeah, really nice.
There you go.
Oh, that's beautiful.
But when you've finished, clear your powder up, because if you sneeze, it will go everywhere. The other thing I wanted to show you though as well is on this tile here, frame here, this effect, this is done with alcohol inks. Now, I don't like to use alcohol inks on unbaked Fimo because I'm not sure how the alcohol and the ink would react with the plasticizer in the Fimo.
Okay.
I could be worried about nothing, I could wreck it completely. So if you bake your Fimo first of all,
for the full 30 minutes?
Yeah,
Or
I'd bake it. Yeah, because I wouldn't put it back in the oven. I don't know how well whether this would burn in the oven. You can get alcohol inks from most craft suppliers. I think there's a range now of manufacturers, or even if you've got alcohol ink pens, just put a little bit of alcohol ink on a cotton bud.
Wow, a tiny bit.
And just rub it over the surface.
That sticks
I
really
suppose
well.
you could do it actually with a ordinary felt tip pen. I don't know whether it would stick to the surface because obviously the Fimo now is not porous. But they say alcohol ink works on virtually any surface.
Looks lovely. And that effect there, if you used this pattern, you could maybe, once you've baked that, you could just cut the star shape out and put that onto some plain rolled Fimo as well, so you don't have to use the whole pattern area.
No, this is it. And the other thing also, if you're applying it with a cotton bud, with that patterned area, you've got far more control as to where your colour is going.
Yeah.
You could actually colour individual areas of the pattern quite simply with alcohol ink. Let's just add a little bit of buttercup.
So what would alcohol inks be used for ordinarily? Are they to go on watercolour paper?
It's a card. No, it tends to work better on like a non-porous paper.
Right.
You can get all sorts of effects with alcohol inks if you're using them in greater quantities than this, because what will happen is they don't normally mix. So if you put a drop of yellow down and then a drop of blue in the middle, it will spread out like oil and water.
Oh, right.
And a lot of people, I nearly put that straight on the tile then, that would have been... A lot of people make interesting backgrounds for cards with them, but also, you know, especially a lot of this steampunk effect and things like that, you know, colouring up bits of old clock wheels and things like that. So it's a different effect on it, and it's more of a muted watercolour wash look.
Yeah, that looks lovely.
Without any pearlescent.
I really like that.
I mean, whether you can, let's just try this. This is an unknown quantity. Whether while the alcohol ink is still a bit wet, you can rub, it will stick.
Yeah.
You can rub metallic powder onto the wet alcohol ink.
And then you'd need to seal that surface with a varnish.
And seal it with a gloss varnish. I say all these pieces have been sealed.
Right.
But the one thing you do want to watch with veneers is when you're baking them. This is a mistake that I made. I baked this coaster and there was an air bubble underneath it. So just as you lay it down, just make sure you rub it over with the heel of your hand to not get fingerprints, but to remove any air from underneath it.
Okay.
And you can make some really great effects, but I do like the colours on that.
That's lovely. And once you've done your Fimo work, these can be washed. And you could also use that with food.
I thought you were going to say cake decorating for a minute there. I know you so well.
Icing.
Yes, yeah.
You could even put
because they're quite hard wearing, those templates.
Very hard wearing, yeah. Melted chocolate.
That's very much.
Possibilities are endless. Anyway, if you want more inspiration, you can go to www.staedler.co.uk.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.